You're always there for me. Do you think of that in your mind at times? Who's he talking to? Absolutely, to God. You're always there for me. Can you look back over your life and see events? Going through it, you may have thought, where's God in this? And afterwards you found out God was right there the whole time, at every moment. Sometimes in life things don't go the way you think they should go, the way you'd like them to go. And you find out later God was right there and they went the right way. He's saying, you're always there for me. The question I would pose is, does it go the other way? Are we always there to express, to press out more of Godness, more of Christ in us, our hope and assurance of glory? Oh, I've had lots of experiences, events passing through my mind, and just sitting back there in the past few minutes. I'm going to use William as an example, Bishop William. He's not really, this is really a joke, okay? William had some problems at the church in Ojai, Our Lady and All Angels. They had bats. Did you ever have bats in your belfry? Well, they had bats. They didn't have a belfry, but they had bats. He heard that the Baptist church down the street in Ojai, they had a nice bell tower, and he had heard they had a problem with bats. So he went down to the pastor down there, and he said, We've got a bat problem, and I heard you've had bats there. Oh, yeah, we had a real problem. Well, what did you do? Well, we sat around and we tried poison and we tried things to try and chase them off. None of it worked. Well, how did you finally get rid of them? He said, well, one of our board members had an idea. What was that? He said, why don't you baptize them? Did you? Yes. What happened? Oh, they never came back. Some years ago, there was a lovely family that came. It was, father, mother, and a daughter. And they came about 3 weeks every Sunday. And they used to say to me, we love this church. The next Sunday was birthday Sunday, and they brought a cake. And we never saw them again. But they said, we love this church. I remember, and of course, right after my ordination, that was a tough summer because I did have a heart attack that summer, and it was a silent one. They put me on a 24-hour monitor, and they still didn't see it because it didn't show electrically. But that summer, my left coronary artery closed down completely, except for collaterals that my body had built around it. I still live on those collaterals today. The doctor, not knowing that I had a heart attack or anything, he suggested that I, try running, variety of things. Yeah. I tried that for a while in the running around Unity Village, and finally I went over to west on Bannister Road to Bannister Mall. There was a gym there. I can't remember which one it was, but I joined. I kind of walked out of there that day like this because they did everything but hold my arm behind my back until I signed. I joined, and I could make payments for 2 years. I made those payments for 2 years. I kept that commitment. Oh, you ask, well, how often did you go? Oh, I didn't go. I just made the payments. I wasn't committed to it, except in a financial way, but not in a personal way. Variety of things happen in life that we're not necessarily committed to, but we get caught up in the moment. I've seen a lot of people join one organization or another, and then a short time later, well, they don't do that anymore because the excitement was short-lived. Now Matthew has a story. It's in the 8th chapter. Now when Jesus saw great crowds around him, he gave orders to go over to the other side. And a scribe came up and said to him, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." It's kind of like, "Oh, would you baptize me? I want to join your crowd." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Bredanasha in Aramaic. It's an idiom meaning human beings. Human beings. Jesus saw that his enthusiasm would be short-lived, that it wasn't going to stick, that he didn't have the depth of conviction. And Jesus realized that to follow the way, which is what the early Christians called Christianity, the way, to follow principle and live by principle, to be committed to grow in truth, to grow in that awareness of God in you, required a couple of things. It required some strength of mind to stay centered and focused and committed, and also will that says, "I do this. This is what I choose to follow." Those things are necessary. We can make commitments to a lot of things, but to keep that commitment is the hard part. So to be able to keep your mind focused on the commitment itself and the process itself. And then to have a will that's so centered in doing, in being, in following the way, that you actually do it. I think it's no accident that, who is it, Nike came up with "just do it"? Yeah. It fits us so often. We talk about things, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that," and we can't wait until we just do it. Don't talk about it, do it. When you're going to get around to it? Well, some years ago, somebody invented, wouldn't you know, a round to it. And you could buy them and give them to people. Well, now you've got a round to it. You can do that now, because here's a round to it. Yeah, maybe we need to remake those again. It's kind of gone the way of the pet rock. Did anybody ever have a pet rock? I sort of did, but it was my snow sledding rock. It was a black rock about this big around, kind of flat, domed on the top, flat on the bottom. It came from my Aunt Nettie's creek on her farm. And my mother discovered that when I was a kid going sledding, if she put that in the oven, it got nice and hot. And it stayed nice and hot for a long time. So she'd wrap it in a towel and tie it to my sled. I'd go down the hill, and afterwards I could put my hand on the rock and warm my hands up. Gloves? Well, whoever thought of wearing gloves, for heaven's sake? Yeah. The Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Foxes, holes, birds, nests. Jesus could see who would make a true disciple. And obviously, the scribe was not really committed to grow in the way, to grow in the truth. Another of the disciples said to him, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." And Jesus said, "Follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead." Now, I've tried to figure out what that would look like, and I can't quite envision it, but then there's a third one. Chris, go to the one in Luke. Notice this follows the same pattern as the other one. Man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." "I will follow you, Lord, but let me first go home." And as they were going along the road, a man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at my home." And Jesus said to him, "No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." When a man plowed a field at that time, and even in our earlier pioneer days, when they came west and they started plowing up the prairie, when they plowed a field, one hand was on the plow and the other was on the oxen goad to guide the animal. Now, the plow was a pretty efficient piece of equipment. You didn't really have to work hard to steer it. One hand could do it easily. But have you noticed what happens when you're driving and you look at something to the left? You start to turn a little bit to the left. You turn around to look. You're going to guide that plow. What kind of furrows do you want? Nice straight lines. When you look back, you see all the work. When you look forward, you can see that the work to be done is getting to be less. When you look back, you lose your point of reference. So you cannot plow straight lines. You'll go astray. The idea of the father going to bury his father. At that time, among the Jewish people, the father's desire was for the son to be there at his passing, to be there in those last moments when he gives the blessing to the family And it would be the son's job to close his eyes, to be sure that his eyes were closed at his passing. It was a normal process. But if you're on the path of truth, if you're following truth, do you really think anything good goes away? Do you really think you lose anything? Jesus, sometimes when he used the word death, it meant the dissolution of something, the loss of something, or something disappearing from your life. There's a lot of things in your life that have died, and it's a good thing. Negative conditions, challenging situations. You want them to go. You want to work your way through them. You want to see them pass. One of the lines in the Bible that I latched onto very early, it seems so meaningful. How simple it is. 4 words. It came to pass. In other words, things come into our life, not to be in our lives forever, but to be an experience to grow through, and then it goes away, and you're done with it. Don't you recognize those things that have happened in your life? Things that have come, lessons that have come, opportunities that have come for growth, but they came for you to pass through them. I loved 5th grade. I loved 4th grade. I had great teachers in both years. I'm not going to say I hated 3rd grade, but I did. 3rd grade teacher, she talked very softly. Oh, you couldn't hear me. You weren't listening. Miss Schroeder, may I sharpen my pencil? And she'd have to examine it before you got permission to go to the pencil sharpener. 4th grade, she was a brand new teacher. She was wonderful. 5th grade, Mr. Anderson, oh, he was a delight. I loved 4th and 5th grade, but let me tell you, I don't want to still be in 4th or 5th grade. Would you? Even though I had a wonderful time. It was good for the time it was. Many experiences in life we enjoy and really would not want to do that forever. Things come to pass. We get the blessing and we move on. Now, in this whole story, as I said, Jesus had the ability to discern who would make a good disciple and who wouldn't. I think even in our own lives, we make a commitment to study a certain book, to learn the truth principles in Lessons in Truth, or one of Charles Fillmore's books. And I don't know, 2 chapters in, we start to forget about it. Maybe we relegate it to our private library, you know, those things you leave on the back of the toilet to read when you have nothing else to do. Instead of laying hold of it and reading a chapter and getting the meat out of it, or working on it, our allegiance to truth is not just for a moment. It needs to be a commitment. Outer distractions. In this case, the guy wanted to go back and bury his father. Well, no good is ever lost. What's more important? One's commitment to truth. instead of afraid you're going to lose something. See, the Father represents something, not only a daddy, but something that's been around a while in your life, and you're afraid you might lose. You know, I have so much fun doing this or doing that. If I start following truth, my goodness, maybe I'll have to give that up or lose the fun of life because, you mean it's not religious? I don't have to give up stuff? No. No good is ever taken away. So this is a great story. You've got lots of excuses. Three people, 3 excuses for not sticking to a commitment to grow. Oh, we've seen that in diets and New Year's resolutions and a whole variety of things. A statement that comes to mind is nothing succeeds like success. You've heard that, of course, before. How many people get all caught up and excited and willing to commit to something they see, they hear about? My folks did a variety of those things. They got caught up in some flea product. Florida. You know, if you have pets, you have fleas. And this was a bottle of some kind of nice tall bottle. It was originally developed for horses. They said people could drink it too. It was some kind of oil with a sulfur compound in it. Apparently the fleas don't like the sulfur coming through the skin of the animal. I don't think I would like the sulfur coming through the skin of the smell, but supposedly we weren't supposed to be able to smell it. They were going to travel around the South and just distribute this stuff. Well, that went for a while. Another time my mother got all caught up with selling naturopathic products from, I think it was Rexall. They developed a whole line of naturopathic things and things that were supposed to reduce your cholesterol and tablets that were naturopathic and were going to make you lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. There's just a variety of things. And she did that for a while. And it's funny how quickly the tarnish ends up showing up on a lot of things. It looks so sparkly to us at one moment. But truth is not something that tarnishes. It's something that always sparkles with light, with goodness. We're all ready to make promises to things that impress us. And when Jesus spoke to these 3 men, he was speaking to the personality aspects of these people and of people throughout all ages. We get caught up in personality and the outer things, and eventually we see the tarnish because it's not an eternal thing. It's not a real thing. He speaks to these guys, as examples, not about what truth will do for us, but what it requires of us. Unity books, I once decided, should have a warning on the cover. You may purchase this book, you may even read it. But if you want what this book has, you're going to have to do it. If that was on the cover, Would you buy it? I probably wouldn't. Not when I first came around Unity. Not until I found out, hey, this stuff works. Yeah. Should have a warning, because there's a price to be paid. And that price is, you've got to give up the lesser, the old ways of being in the world, the old ways of thinking, the old ways of getting your good. You know, if you wanted to really get your good in life, and well, as a kid, oh, mommy, please, mom, we had to manipulate and cry, do all kinds of tricks to see that we got our needs met. That's not what truth is. Truth is about going to the source and using the source's power, energy, to bring it into our lives by being open, receptive, and accepting of our good. He told the one man that let the dead bury the dead. And at some point, we have to stop trying to bury our dead selves. As I've said, Jesus often uses the word dead for things that are passing, for things that are temporal, for things in our nature which are no longer needed as living, useful parts of our consciousness. Things that we want to let go of. The illnesses you've experienced. The actions, attitudes, thoughts, feelings, memories. We have negative ones in all of those categories. Do we really want to keep those? Do we really want to hold on to them? Or do we want them to leave us as well? You've outlived all of them. They no longer serve your highest good. They're part of the ashes of the past. So we want to leave them behind. The man who wanted to go back and say goodbye to his family and be there for his father's passing. Jesus didn't tell him he couldn't go back. He didn't say, oh, no, you can't do that. No. But for us, if we really desire to follow truth as a way of life, then there's no need to ever think that you can ever say goodbye to anyone or anything that you really love, that is really a part of you. Those things are forever. You do not lose anything that's good. You can change your location in physical existence. That may change. But you and those you love, you will always have them with you, within you. Those bonds of love can never be broken. What you love, you are one with, connected with. So, there's a price to pay. You knew it. They didn't tell me when I started all this that I was going to have to pay a price to. No, we didn't, perhaps. But the price is a good price. If you really knew what it was in the beginning, you'd say, oh, yeah, of course. That price is commitment. But the willingness to let go of all the stuff you no longer need. All the stuff that isn't bringing you the happiness you want, isn't filling your life with good. To embrace the way, the truth, and the life is to let go of the junk. It's a yard sale of your life so that you have room for new good, new life. It's a great deal, folks. I kind of like it. What do you say? I'm hearing the song from Sister Act. I will follow you wherever you may go. You remember the song? Yeah. How easily we may say that in our lives to people, to situations. But understand, to say it to truth, you must commit. You must be willing to let go of that stuff. You must be willing to do what it takes. And what it takes is change. Letting go of the old. Letting go of the old attitudes, the old opinions, those things that have kept us in lack and limitation. So, we've just barely cracked this new year. It's like that first knock of the egg. What do you hit it against? The skillet? You get that first crack. Well, that's about where we are. You want to open it and find it's good in there. And we do that by remembering. We want to follow. He said we could. He told us, follow me. He never said, worship me. He said, follow me. And he said that because he knew we could. We can do it, we can make it, we can be it. Because we have that same spirit in us. That Christ that was in and is in Jesus. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and release. One more deep breath. And release it, feeling all the tension leaving your mind and your body. And silently start speaking that special name, that name of your true self. Time it with your breathing. As you breathe in, silently say, I. And as you breathe out, am. I am. Keep repeating this special name till the idea of this Spirit, this Christ in you, becomes clearer and clearer. Each time you speak, I am, you become a little more aware of its presence and its power in you and in your life. I am. Jesus added a few words to those two. I am the way. I am. The I of you is the way through the challenging times, through the periods of illness, through the times when you humanly do not know what to do. I am. Christ in you knows and is the way through. I am the way. Together, I am the way. The I of you is the power, the presence, the wisdom that you need in each day of your life to see clearly and truly. I am the way. Jesus also said, I am the truth. The I of you is the truth of you. God's Spirit individualized. God's power individualized. God life individualized in you as you. I am the truth. Together, I am the truth. The way, the truth. We use that word truth so many ways. Truth is reality. Truth is the reality of the universe, the reality about God and the reality of you. And that is that you are a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe under spiritual law. So truth is an understanding and awareness of the law that sets you free from human ignorance. I am the truth. And he added, life. The I of you is God life, individualized in you as the life of your being. The only life there is, the only life you have. God life, eternal, forever whole and well and free. I am the life. Together, I am the life. The I of you is the way, the truth, and the life. When you make a commitment to that way, that truth, that life, to the I of you, to expressing and living from the point of Christ in you, your assurance of glory, you touch the power that created the universe. You touch the power that makes all things new. You hold in your hands that healing power that knows nothing is incurable. Way, truth, and life. When you dedicate yourself to the eye of your being, you become the full expression of the way, the truth, and the life. And so it is.